information, and with information that brings us away from ourselves. If you have written a book like that, you must be a specialist in exactly that. It's on the one hand to really inform oneself authentically with good stuff, good food, good mind food, so to speak, and at the same time to be poisoned. Right. Both possibilities exist to a degree never seen before.
Yeah, there's whole governmental agencies out there that have disinformation organizations within that do nothing but pollute the airwaves, YouTube and everything with disinformation. I ran into this. We did an article about chemtrails. That's the chemical trails that planes are leaving.
Oh yeah.
Hardly anybody in America realizes that chemtrails are real. They're not condensation trails, they're chemtrails. And I ran into so much crazy disinformation. But if you know how to navigate through that, you can get the really good information. And I think that's important today. Like books like yours, our magazine is a niche magazine. It's not dependent on corporate money. So we can pretty much print what we feel like should be printed without any repercussions from our advertisers or backers.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm also I guess I can call myself also on the forefront of people who have insight into just that kind of state, and for me, very often I just sit back. And the only consolation is one of Martin Luther's saying, where he said, "If I knew that the world is going to perish tomorrow morning, I still would plant a tree today." And this is what we are going to do. And at the same time, we try to not become melancholic or depressive about it, but to convey the fun in self-discovery.
Right.
And this is, for me, it's one of the most important aspects of the whole thing. If I am a vegan, and I know that this is not only my own salvation for my health and my whole being, but also for the whole world. If you look at the fact that 60% of all the grain in the world is fed to animals,
right.
then you know that if you just go down with 10% of meat consumption all over the world, then we can feed not 7 but 10 billion people.
Right.
So if you know all that, and you go back and become a vegan, still you have the duty to convey to people that it's a great thing to become a vegan, that it is fun, that it gives you energy, that it makes you more joyful, and so on. If you, on the other hand, if you turn into a vegan fanatic, then you're doing much more harm than good. And that's what I mean. With our work, we have received to this day, we have received about 200,000 emails, letters to our work. 6 of them were negative. And thank God. But I also attribute that to the fact that we are trying to not to ignore the bad. It is there, but we are trying to always, with our work, show what is possible in the 4 walls of your home. And from there, if you, as an individual reader, if you just change a little bit, if you crank the notch of your being just 1% up, this is an influence on the whole world. And that's what we work for.
Yeah, I like what Albert Einstein said once. He basically said, we're never going to come up with solutions from the same level of consciousness that created the problems.
Tell that, exactly. Tell that the engineers who looked at the rivers meandering and who say, well, it's a good idea to make them straight.
Right. Yeah, and look what we do every time we come up with like how to break the atom. You know, we drop a bomb on people. You know, we need to raise our level of consciousness. And I think this is something about your book that I had a sense of. It's a balanced approach. And I think the consciousness that we're headed towards is not going to be male or female, or
True.
right or left. It's going to be this fine line that we have to walk on this razor's edge to really intuit, also with logic too and rationality,
Yeah.
but
course.
intuit at the same time the truths and the solutions that we're going to need for the world that we're evolving into, because the world that we're evolving into has very little to do with the past. So
Yeah.
we can't use hardly any of the knowledge that we've used in the past building civilizations. It doesn't work. Building organized religions, it doesn't work. Building nations, it doesn't work. And this is where we spend most of our energy and time. So we need a new communal way of looking at things that can't get too far rational or too far intuitive, and it has to be
Yeah.
this middle ground. And I think that's where we're all trying to, knowingly or unknowingly, we're trying to get there.
Oh, absolutely in agreement. That our work. We published knowledge that has been forgotten for a few decades, and we know that the future we are moving into will force us to go back to that knowledge. And we always write, it will force us the future. Why not take the first steps voluntarily? It's much more fun.
Yeah, it's better for us to initiate change
Yeah.
than to let change initiate us.
Absolutely, yeah. Because
So-
otherwise it's not an evolution, but really a revolution, and many people will experience it as a catastrophe.
So, as far as the signature, the little
Yeah.
things that what can that tell us about our personality? If we were just to look at the signature as a single
see.
individual.
Personality, it can tell you a lot about your personality if you have moved from the beginning of your life into a direction that you were not meant for. If you had understanding parents, for example, if you had two lawyers as parents, and both of them noticed that your talents are much more in the arts, and they helped you with it. They bought you a musical instrument, they let you go your path, they let you meet your funny friends, and you notice that the parents of your child's friends are no lawyers, they are very far away. There are such parents. There are parents who realize that sometimes the apple falls very far from the tree. In that case, the code, this book, won't help you much, because you look into the mirror, you look at your signature in the book, and you say, correct, true. It's great how that fits.
Just
how
confirmation.
How exactly you have it as a confirmation. For those people, either they don't need the book, or they need it to understand other people better, whom they are like really stumped. They just don't understand why they behave like they behave. For them, that book would be much better as a medicine, the medicine of understanding that it will provide. But personality-wise, if you have a general feeling of not being where you feel you should be, like a general feeling, may it manifest as a kind of a lingering depression or outright unhappiness with your situation, then that book will help you first and foremost, because you can see immediately where you went astray, as it were, away from that basic set of dreams and capacities that you brought into this life for a purpose. They were given to you, and it meant something. So, for example, what example did we have recent? Oh yeah, that's just perfect. It's a friend of ours, and he is a doctor with a practice and everything, and he's absolutely unhappy with it. He was unhappy with it. And why? Because he had a lot of the numbers that you have in your birthday and signifying true healing capacities and musical talent. He had 2 8s whoever has an 8 and a 3 in his birthday brings a natural talent for music and for healing with him into this life. So, since he was a university-educated doctor, he knew and he realized over time, over a decade, that the conventional medicine forbids him from healing. The conventional medicine, school medicine, forces him to attack symptoms and forget healing. True prevention and true healing are not paid, neither by insurance nor by many of the patients today. So what is paid is immediate result, and then forget it. I don't want to know about causes. So he grew more and more unhappy, and at the same time he started to play piano. Now he became in no time a very, very good classical piano player, even down to giving concerts. So he gave during the day he was in his practice, and at night he gave concerts. Then he met us in that situation, and after a while, very cautiously, because it's sometimes a little bit difficult to find out if someone wants to listen to that, after a while he opened up to us about his desperation, and Johanna said, well, I am not surprised if I look at your numbers. You have the numbers to become a genius in music, and you also want to be a true healer. To make a long story short, this guy closed his practice. Today, he's one of the most sought after musical piano teachers in Vienna. He's one of the best. He's a magician. And his healing capacities, he uses for when people who know him, who know he's a doctor, come to him and ask him, what can I do? What can I really do? Because I really want to get rid of it. I don't want to just have a pill, and I don't want to get rid of the pain and then forget it. I want to find out what's going on with me. Those people he helps. So he's become a healer, and he's become a musician. That's a very good example.
Yeah, because he started by healing himself.
That's it, exactly.
Yep.